Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Wellness Foreplay. We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. We are your presenters or your hosts or your podcast hosts, whatever you want to call us. We're here to give you some information on a health topic, a wellness topic, and we're going to ask 4 questions. But before we get into those questions, we need to tell you something. That is, we will not make any medical claims. We are not here to prevent, treat, cure, mitigate any disease, or tell you anything about how to treat disease. We are simply here to educate you on a wellness topic.
Yes.
Because that's kind of what we do. Why is that, though?
You know what? This is a really big topic, too. So, make sure that you're sharing this out. Make sure that you are following us so you get notified every single time that we go live, because every topic is just as important as any other one.
It is.
But the reason why we're here is first of all, Wellness Foreplay. We pick one topic each episode, and we answer 4 questions about that topic. And you're like, well, who are you guys to even do that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I am a former police detective, and you are?
I'm a former family wellness chiropractor.
And so we've partnered up here to do some investigations so that we can really bring you the knowledge that we know is the foreplay to your wellness, okay? So that's why we're here today. And we're going to be talking about a really big topic today for episode number 7.
Lucky number 7.
I love it. Is going to be inflammation. Gosh.
Yeah. And if you're catching this live on video and you're wondering where we're looking, we're on Zoom here and a Facebook business page. We're on Marcy's phone here, my phone here, all at the same time. And if you're listening to this on the audio version of the podcast, welcome to another episode of this podcast. So we're trying to be multidimensional in how we provide this information to you guys, because it's important to us that we do.
Yeah. And by the way, be thinking as we go through this of at least one thing that you can just pick out and be able to implement into your life, because we're not here to overwhelm you. We're just here to provide you with the information that you can be empowered to make some small changes into your wellness plan. Okay. So don't get overwhelmed at all with this. So today we're talking about inflammation. And the 4 questions are.
And you know why inflammation is important?
Well, that's one of the questions. So let's not go.
Oh, okay. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. See how excited I am to share this with you guys?
Slow down. Okay.
Pump the brakes, bad boy.
It's all the extra, brain food, the Axios we drank on the way up here. So the 4 questions are: what is it? What causes it? What does it cause? And what can we do about it? Okay. So we want to start off obviously with question number 1. And it's like, what is inflammation? So basically inflammation is your body's process of fighting off something that's happened to it, because it's part of the immune process.
And it's normal. Inflammation is normal.
Super normal. And you've experienced it. We know you have. I mean, there's actually 2 different kinds of inflammation. The first one is acute, and acute inflammation is the one that most of us have really experienced, and we know that we have, because generally there's redness that goes along with it, there's swelling, there's pain, and there can be some heat associated with that too.
You're hot.
Are you saying I'm inflamed?
No, and you use the back of your hand as the reference point.
Okay, guys. Sensitive. So many of you, we're going to be going and doing some hiking, right? Many of us have had the opportunity to roll an ankle or 2 throughout our lives. And when you roll an ankle, the first thing you'll notice is it swells up, right? That's inflammation. That's an acute experience of inflammation. Or how about if you get a bee sting or something else that gets stuck inside, maybe a sliver even, and you can have inflammation around the area where that foreign body is.
Or slam your finger in the car door, or walk into
or get punched in the nose.
Or walk into the edge of the closet door in the middle of the night on your way to the bathroom.
There's so many different ways, right? There's so many different ways that you can experience acute inflammation, okay? The other one is chronic inflammation. And this one you might not even really realize is happening inside of your body. And it's actually the really dangerous one. It's the one that can be there for a really long period of time. And depending on how long it's there, it can create all kinds of problems inside of our bodies. And it's associated with a lot of really, really bad things. Do you want to explain a little bit about what chronic inflammation?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to what I said about inflammation being normal. In an acute phase of an injury, inflammation is normal. However, acute inflammation and chronic inflammation can be pathological. in the form of like autoimmune disorders that have inflammation to go with them. And we're going to get to into more detail in question number 3. What does it cause? But inflammation is when your body has an immune response. So whether, like, I'll use your example of rolling an ankle, when you either tear a tendon or you tear a ligament or you tear muscles, and there's the parts of the tendon, the parts of the muscle kind of ooze out, and it creates an inflammatory response. It creates an immune reaction where now your white blood cells rush into the area to try to gobble up the area, heal the area. It causes inflammation. That's the swelling, where you see it kind of swell up, and it's what causes redness. It's what causes heat.
So if you have thought of a time in your life that you've experienced inflammation, just know that it's your body working for you, right? So a little bit about chronic then.
Chronic is due to chronic repetitive injuries, people that have on-the-job injuries where they do a certain thing over and over and over, it becomes repetitive. You can roll an ankle multiple times. You can have chronic bad posture, chronic low back injuries that will now posture related will cause chronic problems, chronic inflammation. You can have chronic diseases that also cause chronic inflammation. Chronic is just long-term, repetitive, over an extended period of time, repetitive inflammation cycles. But sometimes the chronic nature may not be red and hot and swollen, so it's not going to be as obvious.
At least on the outside.
At least on the outside. You may notice it as lack of motion, or you just don't get around the way you were able to before, or your joints just don't move as fluidly as they do before, or used to. They hurt when they do, or you don't have as much range of motion. These are more signs of chronic inflammation.
Very good. Very good. So let's skip into question number 2. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
And that is, what causes it? And so we already kind of talked a little bit about what causes the acute inflammation, right? I mean, it's an injury. You could have a car accident and have swelling to joints or different parts of your body. Maybe you bumped your head and you've got a knot on your head, right? You roll your ankle, you get stung by a bee or get a sliver. Those types of things can cause the immune response that will show up as inflammation.
Rashes too, like poison oak, poison ivy, things like that.
Yeah, good. That's a good point. That's an inflammation of your skin, right? In response to a foreign body.
Right.
Which is your immune system working. I love our immune systems. They are absolutely powerful, powerful, powerful. So let's talk then about the chronic then. Chronic inflammation can be caused by so many different things, guys. As easy as too much party with not enough sleep, right?
College.
College. Yeah, or even just like on some of the events that you might go to where you get up around your friends, your buddies, and maybe you have a few too many drinks, or you just stay up way too late and you're just out there. Maybe you are a weekend warrior.
Yeah.
Right? And you go and you are constantly injuring the same thing over and over again because you're not giving your body the chance to build up the muscle and the strength to be able to maintain that sport, right? And then, we've got the I just went blank on that. So let me look at my notes, because I keep notes here because, guys,
good thing. Keep you on track.
This is the thing, is that we research things and we learn all of the time. We are constant lifetime learners. And so we want to be able to share some of the information that we're learning with you on these episodes as well. And so poor lifestyle, how about inflammatory foods? Depending on your diet, what you're eating
depending upon your blood type. Remember, we talked about Eat Right for Your Type on a couple episodes.
Yeah, and then
Diadamo's book.
There's also something called free radical damage to your cells. It's where free radicals go in. And what is a free radical exactly? Like it's missing.
It's a hippie from the 60s.
Right. It was before my time. That couldn't be me. So free radical.
Free radical is in literal terms, it's an unstable cell that it either wants to give an electron and needs an electron. It is an unstable cell that causes problems inside your body, causes the chemical nature of your body not to work right, and it causes damage. So things like, breathing oxygen actually can cause oxidative stress. Poor foods, fried foods, processed foods can cause oxidative stress. All kinds of problems can cause oxidative stress. So along the chronic nature of inflammation, which comes also along with oxidative stress, is like people that work in like coal mines and stuff like that, where you've got chronic lung damage, or people that work in silica mines, and you have these types of things, or people that work with pesticides for years and years and years, and then years later they develop all kinds of issues. It's a chronic exposure, chronic inflammation, chronic oxidative stress that the body has to endure, and the immune response has to try to fight off. But it can handle it for so long, and then eventually it just overwhelms the immune system because of its repetitive nature or the severity of it and exposure.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit more about oxidative stress and free radicals here in the next question as well. But just know that free radicals are not all bad. You need some free radicals for your immune system, right? But it's a matter of finding a balance inside your body, right? So when you're out of balance, that's when the damage to the cells happens, and that's when inflammation runs rampant. Rampant. And then we've also got bad gut health, which our last, we've had 3 episodes so far. We're about gut health, and your bad gut health just might be causing you a lot of inflammation.
Chronic inflammation. Leaky gut syndrome is a cause of it. Inflammatory foods, chronic inflammation leads to malnutrition and all kinds of, sometimes it even leads to things like sepsis, which your body just becomes very, very toxic. So leaky gut syndrome, which can lead to things like ulcerative colitis. Crohn's disease, bad stuff.
Really bad stuff.
Bad stuff, which are chronic inflammatory issues.
So we want to make sure that you're taking care of inflammation, but you first have to understand that inflammation is not your enemy, right? It's basically your body is sending out a message that it needs an immune response, and inflammation is an immune response.
It's the white blood cells that are actually coming in to help clear up the debris of the injured area, which is where the inflammation comes from. So it's an immune response. Some of you super fitness people, when you go to the gym, you know of something called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. That's a sign of acute inflammation, because you injure your muscles when you're doing your 1 rep max on the bench, and then the next day it's sore. But even the second day is more sore, because that's the inflammatory response happening. It's the immune response. It causes an immune response, which is the cause of delayed onset muscle soreness, also called DOMS for all you gym rats out there.
Dietrich, our son, was at so I've got so many, my DOMS is 15, killing me today. And I'm like, I never ever heard that term until he started.
It's not a couple Italian guys.
No, it's hilarious. It's so
it's
funny.
An acronym.
Yeah. So let's skip into question number 3 about inflammation, and that is, what does it cause? Because this is the big deal, right? This is the thing that you've got to be paying attention to. Inflammation, because you don't want these things. You don't want things to creep up into your life, and basically anything that ends with itis.
Yes. And if by the way, if you're getting any value out of this, share the videos forward, tag somebody in here, share the podcast episode, because we really, really want to arm you with information to be self-aware so that you can become your own health advocate. Yeah. But as Marcy said, anything that ends in itis, I-T-I-S, is inflammation. That in fact, that root word, or that part of the word itis, means inflammation. So whether it's bursitis or appendicitis, or anything you can name, arthritis, anything you can name with itis at the end, that is an inflammatory response.
Yeah. And there's so many different diseases out there that have a major contribution coming from inflammation. Most of them. I mean, it's like, just to think of a few, and this isn't a disease, it's a reaction, but allergies. Allergies has to do with inflammation. What about cancers? Cancers have massive problems with, and even brain disorders, Alzheimer's, all of those issues, things.
Mostly all the autoimmune responses that are cognitive, whether it be Alzheimer's or ALS or MS, they're all chronic inflammatory conditions of the brain.
Yeah. So
most of them also caused by oxidative stress, for another connection.
Yeah. So it's really important for you to be aware of what inflammation is, right? So that's what we're here for you. And by the way, we call this wellness foreplay because it's like FOUR, but we're playing on words because we also want you to understand that foreplay is always more fun when you're with somebody else, right? So that's another reason why you should be sharing these wellness foreplays out to everybody, right? You got to share these out to everybody because everybody needs to know this information. Make sure that you're following us. We also have the YouTube channel, Dondi and Marcy Nettles, where we upload all of these videos. And so just subscribe, ring the bell, get notifications when we upload new content. I love that
here. Very clandestine, overt reference to foreplay. That was perfect.
Hey guys, foreplay is a fun thing, right? It prepares you For wellness. Yes. That's what we're talking about here. So how about body pains and stiffness? Inflammation, right? That's all about inflammation. That speaks for itself. We don't really have to go into that very much. But how about if it affects every single part of your body? There is no part of your body or any of your body systems that inflammation does not negatively affect.
And the areas that move the most are the most susceptible, because of the damage that can happen when they move, whether it be a joint or your muscles, blood vessels. Blood vessels can have inflammation, chronic inflammation. So it's just one of those things. It's something we can't avoid. So the best thing to do to delay the onset of it and minimize the severity of it is be as aware as possible and take as many precautionary measures as you can to avoid it.
Yeah, certainly. And this is actually the part of this episode that I was the most excited about, because you guys, so now that you're more aware of what the two different types of inflammation is or are, you also know that it affects every part of your body and that it's really connected to so many things that you do not want to have to deal with. They're all aging diseases, right? And even though we have to age, we do not have to have those things come along with it. And so here comes the empowerment part. Here comes the information part, to where you can pick something and you can do something different inside of your lifestyle or your really just your knowledge, and changing these little things to be able to reduce inflammation, which reduces so many potential issues in your life. So what can we do about inflammation? That's question number 4. Okay. What can we do about inflammation? So first of all, anti-inflammatory diets.
Yes.
What should we be cutting out?
If you just type in your search engine of choice, inflammatory foods, avoid them.
Yeah.
That's your anti-inflammatory
fried foods, by the way, guys, fried foods.
From a nutrition standpoint. Yes. Fried foods, horrible.
Yeah, bad oils,
horrible.
Yeah. So
unnatural
bad.
Ingredients, horrible.
Which means most of the fast foods that are out there is horrible.
I think we should do an episode on how to eat healthy at a fast food restaurant, because you can do it.
You can do it.
But you have to be very, very, very careful.
But even the choices for eating healthy at fast food restaurants, they may be better for you, but they're not 100% healthy either. So definitely. So when we're talking about anti-inflammatory diets, that means high fiber foods. It means tomatoes, nuts, specifically walnuts and almonds are the best ones there. How about leafy greens, fatty fish, fruit? Those are all things that you should be, salmon's like one of the really good fatty fish. And then Mediterranean diet. And by the way, guys, I eat plant-based. I am vegetarian. I don't eat meat proteins. And so there are so many great things out there that you can eat to get really good protein and have a very good low inflammatory diet. The Mediterranean diet is one that I would say go out and research that one. Use the search engine and just go. By the way, guys, don't use Google. Use a different type of a search engine that is going to give you all of the different information, all the options that are available. We really like DuckDuckGo, and there's several other ones out there. So go find one of those that you can utilize for these researching opportunities. So I love avocado.
I know.
I love avocado.
It's one of the most amazing superfoods out there.
Yeah, it gives you healthy fat. It gives you great protein options as well, and just all the way around. Yeah, and carbohydrates. So if you're not using avocados, add avocados into your life. Okay.
You know what's a great use for avocados? Babies' first food. When they come off of breast milk, avocado is amazing for that. And
since I'm not having any more babies, you know what I think is great for avocados? I like putting it in my protein drinks. I like putting it, I mean, seriously, just creamy, so good. So we're getting off on a little tangent here, but those are all.
You say creamy, so good. Avocado, coconut oil, and cacao powder. Unbelievable chocolate pudding, like the most amazing chocolate pudding you've ever had.
Yeah. Because that's actually one of the next things that we're going to be talking about here about what you can do is, you want to avoid those fried foods that we've already talked about, but you want to avoid added sugars. Okay. Added sugar. Sugar is really bad for inflammation. It's actually food for inflammation. Okay.
And it's also food for almost every debilitating terminal disease that you can get. Cancers love sugar.
Yeah. And okay, so I also put here that you need to reduce your red meat intake because red meat is highly inflammatory. You also should think about reducing your alcohol intake, and really pay attention to what types of fats or cooking oils that you're using, because there's some out there that are horrible for inflammation. Okay, so really pay attention to that. And then some of the things that you can add into your diet, there's some really great options for antioxidants. What is an antioxidant?
An antioxidant is also called a pro-oxidant, which is something that goes after and scavenges and kills and destroys and beats the crap out of free radicals.
Yeah, so a couple examples, or actually 3 examples that I wrote down here, was ginger's a really good one.
Ginger's good.
Turmeric.
Turmeric is really
great for anti-inflammatory. And even cannabis, guys. Cannabis is an anti-inflammatory herb. Interesting, right? Who knew that? And then,
so I was fighting all kinds of inflammation in college. I didn't make any admission there. I'm just saying.
Okay, we're moving on now.
For a friend.
So something else that is kind of new, most people don't know about it. It's called Nrf2 Activation. I would say go to Google Scholar if you have to use Google, but go to DuckDuckGo and research Nrf2 in our activation.
Yeah, and it's an amazing
really
cellular response in your body.
There's a lot of foods out there that activate that Nrf2 pathway inside of your body that can help reduce inflammation. There's some supplements that can help. There's actually some new activators on the market that are really phenomenal. We're totally enjoying those that really help to reduce that damage inside your cells that leads to inflammation, and it actually does at a much higher rate than any of the antioxidants or anything that you can take from
and that's a relatively new term if you're not familiar with the word activation or the term activation. What supplementing does, you take a supplement because your body doesn't make whatever you're supplementing. Activation is when you use natural ingredients to trigger a normal response inside your body, and your body has the actual activation. Your body, it's like turning your body's cells on. Unbelievable.
So a couple other things that we wrote down here is you want to make sure that you're managing your weight, because if you're overweight, you've got and you've got inflammation happening from the processes not working the way that they're supposed to. So some of the things that you want to do for managing your weight, you got to get your body moving. Okay, got to get your body moving, and you've got to get better sleep. And then on top of that, manage your stress. Manage the stress in your life, right? And we've given some ideas on how to do that in previous episodes as well. But really, those are the 4 questions that we had for you today.
Gotcha. I want to add some other things.
And I totally want you,
preventing inflammation. And I'm going to probably upset a couple of you right now. And you're going to go, but I can't live without doing that. And that for you guys, putting one of these things in your back pocket, a wallet. Here's the interesting thing about it. The richer you are, the worse it is. In other words, the thicker your wallet, because most guys put it in the back pocket. It's not a problem when you're walking. It's only a problem when you sit down, because when you sit down on that wallet, you are literally tilting your pelvis by the thickness of that wallet, but you don't normally lean to the side. Your body compensates and you lean back the other way, creating a small curvature in your lower back and a compensation in your upper shoulders. And if you wear a wallet, put it this way, if you take out your pants and look at your jeans, if there's a discoloration on the back pocket because of your wallet or your dip, if you cowboys out there, you're causing problems in your posture, and it's forcing your body to compensate, and you are creating long-term inflammation, chronic inflammation, and sources of pain in the future. Now, I can't just offend guys. I got to go after ladies too. Ladies, if you wear a purse, or students, if you wear a backpack on one shoulder, you're doing the same exact thing because you're weighting yourself down. And so you can't walk around like this. Your body will compensate, causing your shoulders to try to be level, but the extra weight on that side puts extra stress on every joint on that side of your body. And think about this, for contractors. If contractors only put cargo in the bed of their truck on the right side, never put anything on the left side, which shocks do you think are going to wear out quicker? Which bearings do you think are going to wear out quicker in the wheels? Which tires do you think are going to wear out quicker? And you're like, duh, it's obvious. The side you're putting all the weight on because it carries that much more weight. But you don't think about it when it comes to wallets. or purses or backpacks, or ladies, if you wear high-heeled shoes, you are forcing your body posture forward. And because you can't walk around leaning like this, you put an arch in your lower back and your center of gravity comes back. You're putting a hyperextension in your lower back. The higher the heels are, then I know that it makes your calves look great, and it looks great. And you know, it's something about sexy cool, but it is causing chronic inflammatory problems in your lower back, your pelvis, and all can work its way all the way up the spine. So those are just a couple.
But I have to inject here, so you know, okay. So wearing those sexy heels for short time periods is okay.
It's fine.
All right, it's okay.
It's just, everything is fine in moderation.
Every day, all
and guys,
day
put
long.
your wallet in your front pocket.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
And then the cross straps for your purse, or a handhold, or a backpack is great.
Wear both straps.
Right? So just some options there. And those are things that you can do like today, right? So make sure that you go through this episode, rewatch it, just take some notes.
Actually, I want to make one more comment.
Okay.
Sleeping. Sleeping is something we normally do for rest and relaxation and allow our bodies to heal. But did you know you can sleep incorrectly? The way you sleep, bad posturally, can cause long-term problems. I want you to look close at my nose. My nose has never been broken, but if you notice, it's crooked, because I slept on my stomach with my head turned this way, pushing my nose this way for 6 to 8, 10 hours a night. So think about 1/3 for decades. I went to a chiropractor for the first time when I was 24, and he looked at me and he said, "Did you ever break your nose?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Are you sure about that?" And I said, "I think I would know if I broke my nose." "Yes, I'm sure." He says, then he looked at my whole entire x-rays and he goes, "Okay, you sleep on your stomach with your head turned to the right and your left leg straight and your right leg up." And I'm thinking, creeper. This guy's like, how does he know this?
Watching me.
Because your x-rays tell me you're bad posture and you're starting to develop arthritis because of bad posture. Now my nose is, I discovered this 30 something years ago, and it's still crooked, but it's not because I've ever broke, because my nose grew that way because of bad posture. So if you are sleeping, when you sleep on your back is the ideal position, with something under your knees to take the pressure off of your lower back. For you side sleepers, very important that you have the pillow that makes up the distance between the mattress, surface of the mattress, and the side of your head. So your head is not bent this way on a thin pillow, or bent that way on a thick pillow, causing stress or improper posture to your neck, and also causing you to be uncomfortable and have to shift and rotate around. And a pillow between your knees for you side sleepers, so that it takes the pressure off of your lower back. These are things. So if you sleep on your stomach, you sleep on your side with no pillow, or your pillow is too thick or too thin, you are creating long-term inflammation or chronic inflammation just due to bad posture, and you're rapidly accelerating your likelihood of having arthritis.
Dude, that was good stuff. That's good stuff right here.
Yeah. And it's correctable too. It's correctable. Once you figure it out, this is where posture-focused chiropractors can really, really help you live a less painful life and a longer life, just simply by focusing on posture and awareness of posture, and that bad posture causes long-term chronic inflammation.
Well, I'm sure thankful for my chiropractor.
Your chiropractor is thankful for you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us for episode 7 of Wellness Foreplay, all about inflammation. Please make sure that you are following us, subscribe. We've got Dondi and Marcy Nettles on YouTube. We've got dondiandmarcy.com.
Our new website. Yeah, it's almost done. It's about 60% done, but check it out.
Yeah, and you can find Wellness Foreplay on Apple
Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. Yeah, it's it. We're putting it everywhere.
So please go and subscribe. Give us a review, 5-star, please. And share us out to everybody. We've also got Possibilities from Home as a Facebook page. Please go and like that page. And then, of course, follow us on here on Facebook. Dondi Nettles, Marcy Mon Nettles. Would love to have your follows, because we will be coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with Wellness Foreplay, because we know this knowledge that we're bringing to you is exactly what you need for the foreplay for your wellness.
Yes.
And we want you all to experience your optimal wellness lifestyle.
Because we care about you.
We do so much.
Here, let's do it.
All right, guys, guess what? We're jumping out of a plane tomorrow. Yeah. So excited. Say whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.